welcome to Wildcraft Eye. On this week's episode, we will be doing an overview of tablet weaving, how you do it, and why it's a great craft for small spaces. Now, if you're unfamiliar with tablet weaving, it is a form of band weaving. These are a way to weave together bands that can be used as belts. It's often used in the historical recreation groups. Here I am, and this is Finnish Iron Age. And you can see that these tablet weaving bands really add to the outfits. They really end up with this polished look. So they're super fun for that. So it's an easy way to get into historical weaving. You can even use tablet weaving to complete the edge of a garment. This is another historical technique. But I've started to teach tablet weaving, and as you can see, it fits really well on these small, what we call Inkle Loom. Inkle is another way of weaving bands, but I prefer tablet weaving. In terms of what I like to use, a fingering weight is great, or what we call 28 to 32 stitches an inch if you're a knitter. Now, tablet weaving is a very unique form of weaving because it requires you to thread cards onto your warp that you will turn. And part of that allows you to create these patterns that will later on inform you exactly how you want to thread those cards and what colors go where. So one of the things that you'll find with your weaving is you have to figure out how long to cut your threads. And so for that, I use what's called a test thread, which is I put a thread around the doweling of my loom to figure out exactly how long to cut those warp threads. And so for me, that is about 3 meters. The yellow thread here is about 3 meters, so that I knew I had to cut each of my warp threads to be 3 meters as well. So let's circle back to the pattern again. This pattern, as you can see, there's numbers 1 to 12 at the top. That is the number of cards we're going to use. There is purple along each of the borders, which is going to be those cards on either side are going to be purple. And then we have a diamond pattern. And as you can see, I have 3 colors, and then each of those equals 16 for a total of 48 strands of warp. For 16 colors, and each card is going to have 4 warp threads. Okay, let's get going. So at this stage, I have 16 orange, 16 blue, and 16 purple warp threads. And I'm just making sure that I measured them the right length for each of them. And the next stage is going to be to start filling them in card by card. This is the only form of band weaving where you're going to need to thread cards. So here I have taken 4 purple strands. I put them around the loom in the same path as that test strand. And I'm going to take that first card. Now, there's 2 ways you can thread your card. Either the thread goes through the back and out the front of the card, or into the front and out the back of the card. It depends on the pattern that you're weaving. For this one, I have 12 cards. So the first 6 cards are the first 6 on the right are going to be S threaded, which means through the front and out the back. And the second set of 6, for a total of 12, is going to be Z threaded, where it comes in the back and out the front. Now, if that didn't make a total lot of sense to you, don't worry about it. You will quickly realize when you start to warp up your thread that you actually have to figure out which way to put the threads through. They're either going to go through the front of the card, or you have to put them through the back of the card. They have to go in the card one way or another. So S on the left and then Z on the right. And warping them that way, when it comes time to turn the cards, is going to create the right angles to get the effect that we want for the pattern that we have chosen today. So one thing that you will notice is that each of these cards, you can either make your own out of playing cards or even old cereal boxes, have letters A, B, C, and D in each of the holes. And that helps you in terms of threading and keeping track of your cards when it comes time to weave. So the basic process is fairly simple. You want to take the cards in your offhand, slide your shuttle that holds your weft through what's called the shed, which is the space between the weaving and the cards, and give them a quarter turn. So here you can see the C letter is closest to us. We've turned them a quarter turn forward, and now the B is closest to us. And in between each turn, we bring the shuttle back through to tighten what we call beat. This is beating the warp, which gives us a sharp design. And that's basically all it is. And depending on how you turn the cards, you get a different pattern. So here it is sort of sped up as you go. And you can see it's a really easy way to move forward because you have already put all of the design elements already into that warp. And so this is what happens. This is the kind of design you get if you do 4 turns forward and 4 turns back with the pattern that we set up at the beginning. But there's a lot of other variations on this theme. This one, for example, is 8 turns forward and then 8 turns back, and that kind of extends those diamonds. If, on the other hand, you are willing to flip some of those cards and play around with it, you can get even more designs happening. So this is a wave, whereas before we had S and Z threaded cards, now all the cards are Z threaded. That's all the way forward. This one is 8 forward, 8 back, I believe, and you can kind of see that extended wave pattern. It gets pretty incredible. This next one here, this is where you're turning cards in different directions on some of the picks, and you can get this S pattern happening. This is a very historic Finnish Iron Age pattern. And in the end, here was the strand that I ended up with about 8 or 10, sorry, there was 10 different designs all woven in. There's a few different ways you can do table weaving. This is called brocaded. This is an Anglo-Saxon, so very, very early period. This is a later German period one where the pattern is instead this auxiliary or secondary weft that's woven through with fine metal. But as you can see, it really is an amazing form of weaving. It's very compact. You don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of equipment to store it. And it's a really super fun thing. And you can make all different kinds of things with the bands. So I hope you like this video. I really love putting it together. This is the basis of an article I'm writing up for a tutorial for an online magazine called Digits and Threads out this year. Thank you very much, and feel free to like and subscribe for more content on fiber.